Hello and welcome to round one of The Convicted. Okay, so I had to pick a first player, so I picked the smuggler to be the first player, and the first player marker will move from player to player as each round goes by. So this is where a four-player game is a disadvantage to one. For example, the smuggler is the only one that can build the western wall. So that means he has to consume actions to do that, whereas somebody else may be better suited for it. If you're doing a single player, you get to build whatever you want, wherever you want, in whatever order you want. Here, it may be beneficial for the smuggler to go last, and I'm stuck going first. There's things like that in a four-player game, if you play the strict rules, I mean, you can always house rule that say we can do actions in any order, but in this case, smuggler has to go first, so we have to make the most of it. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to spend one action to use his special ability to collect double resources. Now, double resources, if we look at the chart, is normally it's 2 wood. By the way, when you do resource receiving, you pick a resource, and that's the only one you get. You don't get all 4 of them in one action. So it's pick a resource, and that's the one you receive. So we're going to do wood. That is actually the only one available in the game right now, and we're going to get double, so that means we're going to get 4 wood. So let me reach in and grab 4 wood. Sorry, I'm doing this one-handed. Okay, so here we go. We got 4 wood for the smuggler. So now the smuggler is going to spend all 4 of those wood and 1 more for 5. So we're going to spend 5 wood here to build a library level 1. You can see that it costs 5 wood. So that action cost me an action. And we come over here and grab the library level 1 there, and it goes into our town like so. Now in doing that, I've unlocked 4 technologies. Stone masonry allows us to get stone. Until we research this, we don't have the ability to get stone. Archery allows us to recruit archers. Fortifications allows us to build level 1 walls and towers. Cauldrons allows the construction of the first level of the workshop and the production of cauldrons with pitch. One of the things I forgot to mention is that we do have stones that we put on every wall. So let me do that. Stone, stone, and stone. And the idea there is as enemies are coming to our wall, we're throwing stones over the rickety fence and hitting them while they're trying to overcome the fence. Okay, so I have one more action. I will spend my final action to build for 1 wood. So I'm going to show that here. Walls, or no, I don't have the ability to build walls. Never mind, I'm going to spend my last action on fortifications so I can build walls. So the smuggler is done. He has 1 wood left, which he will pass to the next player. All right, so now we're on the counterfeiter. He has the ability to take those 3 wood and turn them into stone, because we have the ability to get stone now. I am not a fan of doing that right away. Oh, let me look at the barracks here. I do like upgrading the barracks very quick, so I do need stone to do that. So, what do I do? What do I do? The library, level 2, is similar. It takes 2 stones. So I will do that. I will convert 3 wood into 3 stone. Like so. And I'm going to pass those 3 stone to the pickpocket. And that did not cost me an action, but I will spend 1, 2, 3 actions to get 1, 2. I'm going to research the whole technology tree. So now we have the ability. Oh. Okay, so a little bit out of order. I will spend 1 action to get stone masonry so I can get stone. Then I would have done my special ability Okay, then I would have spent the second action and the third action. So let's do it that way. And then now we can build archers, cauldrons, and stone. We have the ability to gather stone. So I'm just putting our technologies over here. They're just there for reference so you know what you can do. And now we move to the deserter. You always want to use the deserter special ability. He has the ability to recruit somebody. So we're going to recruit another... Oh, what should we recruit? We will recruit an archer. Spearman's and archer both cost 1 wood. So we will spend a wood. And then he has 3 actions still left. So I'm going to build a wall for 1 action using 1 wood. And the walls cost, a level 1 wall costs 1 wood. And you can see that I can now put 4 people on my wall instead of 3. Although I don't think that's an issue at the moment. So coming over to here, he's in charge of the northern wall. So we're going to build the northern wall. And that will go like so. All right, and so the stones stay. Then we take 2 components here. And since it's a level 1 wall, it gets 1 endurance. Now there's 2 numbers here because there is the wall and then there is the gate. And so I apologize, phone is ringing and I cannot do anything about it. So apologies to everybody. Okay, so we have the wall and the gate. The gate has its own separate strength, if you will. So the enemies have the ability to destroy the gate or destroy the wall, and that's 2 separate things. And of course, if the gate's destroyed, then they can just, the melee units can just walk right through. Other things to note is it does tell you on here how many men can be on the wall, and it's just a reminder that this is a level 1 wall. It can never go to level 2, for example. This 1 is the maximum level, and if it gets destroyed, you just take it off to show that it's down to level 0. Okay. Now there's some math on how that helps your units to defend themselves in battle, but we'll get into that later. I have 2 more actions, so I will spend 1 action gathering resources. So I'm going to gather 2 wood. And I will spend my last action and I will get another archer for 1 of those wood. Okay, so we recruited 2 guys. One of them was a free action. We gathered a resource and we built a wall. Okay, next. Oh, yeah, that's fine. So I'm going to pass the wood over to the pickpocket. So now we are on the pickpocket. Pickpocket has a lot of things he wants to do. He wants to build a library level 2. He wants to upgrade the... Oh, back up, back up, back up, back up. I have to put both of these back. Okay, here's why. Archery allows the construction of the 2nd level of the barracks where you can train archers. So just because you have the technology doesn't mean you can build archers. I do not have the ability to build archers because I have to build a level 2 barracks, which is 4 wood and 1 stone. So I'm putting both of those archers back and I'm taking back both wood from that action, those series of actions. One of them was to collect resources, still doing that. One of them was to build a wall, still doing that. 1 wood was for the free recruit action. I'm still going to do that, but it has to be a spearman. And then I have 1 more wood and 1 more action left. And so this final action is going to be to gather 2 more wood. I'm going to be at 3 wood, which I am then going to pass to the pickpocket. So sorry for doing those actions wrong. Okay, so now the pickpocket has the ability to build things and spend one less resource. So we have choices here. We can build a level 2 barracks for 4 wood and 1 brick. We can build a library for 5 wood and 2 brick. I happen to have 3 brick here. So it is very tempting to not spend the brick because they're the most expensive resource to get at this point. But it's actually the wood at this point. So, for example, I want to build that level 2 library. So if I don't spend 5 wood and instead spend 4 wood, I would then have to spend 2 brick along with it. There, that gets me a level 2 library, which I am going to do. So with the level 2 library, I'm just going to put it right over top of the level 1 library. So now, as you can see, the buildings are progressively getting bigger and better. Now that level 2 library just unlocked, I think, 5 technologies. So construction, the ability to build level 2 walls, catapults, which requires you to first build a second level of the workshop. We don't even have level 1 workshop. So getting a level 2 library is a little ahead of the game, but I still wanted to do it. That was one action. And the reason I wanted to do it is because I want the ability to spend action on research if I'm, for example, out of resources, but I still have actions left. Second, I need more resources, so I'm going to get 2 wood. Third, I want to build a level 2 barracks, but I don't have enough. So I'm going to instead spend 1 wood for my third action and build a wall. So we're going to grab an eastern wall and come over here, and the eastern wall goes on the board like so. And we put a level 1 marker there. Okay, we just did all 12 of our actions. And as you can see, there's a million things we still want to do. We have walls to build, we have moats that we didn't even try digging. We have other buildings to build. There's a ton to do. Okay, so now we move on into the siege phase or the attack phase. So first thing we do is we have to select which type of troop is going to invade. Barbarians, beasts, forestmen, or wolfmen. Now the game says to just shuffle the cards and draw 1, which is a perfectly viable way to do it. As you can see, I did play it that way, but the cards are starting to wear and tear a little bit, so I'm doing a gentler version. I'm just going to roll a die. 1, 2, 3, 4. If I roll a 5 or a 6, I'm just going to roll again. Okay? So 1, 2, 3, 4 is how we're going to do it. It doesn't matter which die I roll. I rolled a 2. So that means the beasts are coming. Okay, so what does that mean? Well, on Board Game Geek, there's this really cool diagram here that's a little bit better than what's in the rulebook. And so the way this diagram works is you can see that there's beasts here. That's the barbarians, the forestmen, and the wolfmen. And it shows from round 1 all the way to round 20 where they attack, or what did they attack, and it even has all their special rules in a nice little handy-dandy chart. Now some of it's going to look like gibberish, and I'll explain it as we go, but everything here makes sense. So the beasts have a couple special abilities. First of all, they're immune to blindness. We don't have the blindness spell, so don't worry about that. They have a defender RFS of -1. What does that mean? That is for your range attacks. So basically, if we would have recruited archers, like I was hoping to do, those archers have a -1 to their attack, which means that their arrows basically bounce off the thick hides of the animals, of the beasts. So archers are useless. At least level 1 archers are against them. Level 1 archers cannot do any damage to a beast. So that's important. Then you have special ability for the spiders, which are highlighted in gray because the spiders are gray. So So the highlights here are the same color as the monster. So things you see in gray there only apply to the gray monster, the spiders and the spider veterans. And then you can see this greenish looking thing applies to the hawks and the hawks veterans, which are the greenish or the brown cubes, if you will, in the game. And then the black dragons have their own special ability as well. So, okay, that's the first thing. The second thing is that, let's say that it was the barbarians. See how it has a 1/1 for round 1? What that means is we determine their main attack direction. Main attack direction is MAD. See, M-A-D? Main attack direction is actually written right on your sheet here. Determining MAD. You roll a die. If it's a 1 or a 2, they attack from the north. 3 south, 4 west, 5 east. 6 is just roll again. So just doing some quick probability, you can see that the north is the direction that they attack from the most. That is the reason why I put my deserter on the north wall, because he has the ability to recruit extra guys for free actions. So he's the guy that's going to have the most troops. So that's why I put him on and responsible for the north wall. So, make sense? Okay, well, the 1/1 means the number on the left side of the slash is the main attack direction. The /1 means that all other directions get a guy too. So basically the barbarians attack from all 4 sides in round 1. And you can see later in the game, 12/6, the main attack direction is going to get a large amount of troops, but every other direction is going to get a lesser amount. So you can see there that the main attack thrust will have a significantly larger portion of troops. Now, why do I mention all that? Because we're doing beasts. If you look at beasts, there is no slash. Beasts always attack from one and only one direction. They don't divide themselves up and attack from all 4 directions. Beasts are probably, in my opinion, the absolute toughest of all 4 groups to face. So the fact that we're rolling beasts is not good, but I will tell you that the wolves are not so bad. It's when they get to the spiders that it becomes... So round 2 is a big deal. So in the first round, it got off a little easy. Okay, so what do? It says, for round 1, 2 wolves. So the wolf is right back there. And so the wolf is the black. So we take 2 black cubes. Another way to look at it is here. You can see the wolf is in a black column, so we know to use 2 black cubes. Now, what direction are they going to attack from? We roll a die. I rolled a 3, and we look at MAD. 3 means they're coming from the south. So the wolves are going to attack from the south, like so. There's also another rule with beasts. They avoid moats. So if I happen to have a moat or a ditch on the northern or the southern wall, they would actually have picked a different side to attack from. But we don't have to worry about that because we don't have any of those built. Okay, so we got our wolves there. Next thing we do is we set up our defenses. So the deserter is responsible for the northern wall, so his guys go on the northern wall. Pickpocket's going to go on the eastern wall. The counterfeiter is responsible for the southern wall. And those stones, by the way, are there. And then the smuggler over here on the western wall. Now, there are options. For example, the smuggler could have put his 2 guys here on the corner, and that's probably the smarter thing to do, but I'm not worried about these wolves. So I'm not doing that at the moment, but ideally that's probably what you should do. These guys have the ability to move in the middle of the battle, and they can only move 1 space. So this guy would need 2 turns to get there. So the smart thing to do, here I'll just do it. The smart thing to do is to put them there, so in 1 turn they can move over and help defend against those wolves. This is catastrophe mitigation, because if I lose those 2 guys that are already there, that's already a catastrophe within itself. Okay, so battle phase. Step 1, defenders range units attack. We have no range units, so step 1 is skipped. Invaders range units attack. Wolves may have some bad farts, but other than that, they cannot do any ranged attacks, so they skip. No siege engines, so 3 and 4 is skipped. Regroup the enemy to the foreground zone. Okay, what does that mean? Right now they're in the background. And there's a little picture of the siege engine here, because the ranged attackers never leave the zone. They always stay back here. They never move closer to the wall. They can shoot comfortably from the back. But these guys are the melee guys, so what that's saying is they have to move. So they're going to move to here, where you see the weapons, the axes. Now, what's the space in between? Remember, that's the space for our moat, if we were to build one. So right now it's just open field, and they run right through the open field into there. That is what step 5 does. Step 6, if we had archers, we would get to attack a second time. We don't. We regroup our defenders. This is where we can move our defenders. This wall actually holds 3 people, so I can take one of these soldiers and move it over to help. And that's the whole idea of starting them in the south corner like that. So now we have our maximum number of troops defending that wall. Next, step 8, their range units attack. The farts are bad, but they're still not damaging us. Step 9, form combat groups. Okay, it's a little convoluted, and some people actually don't like this part of the game, but basically you look at the number of attackers, so it's 1 to 4, so they're going to form one combat group. The combat groups are going to be one person in elite, one wolf is in elite, and one wolf is in support. Okay, what does that mean? We're going to get into the math eventually, but so basically there's 4 values for every troop. There is a attack value, or that's called strength. There is a support value, there is a endurance value, and then there's a range attack value. So the wolves, where are the wolves? Here. They have a strength value of 1 and a support value of 1. So basically their strength and their support is the same. Let's use an example where they're not the same. Let's say it was these heavy footmen here. Strength value of 2, support value of 1. If this guy's in the front, this guy would be worth 2, but since this one's in support, it only adds 1 to the strength. So the support guys add their support value, not their strength value. So the guys in the support role are not as strong, if you will. It's the simulate, they're trying to climb ladders to get into the wall or over the fence, and so it's a big deal. They have to queue up. Now in our case though, the wolves are 1, 1, and 1, so basically they're going to have a strength of 2. So 1 from the front and 1 from the support. Okay. All right. We form the combat groups. Now we use our cauldrons and boulders. That also, even though it doesn't say it, it means stones. So right now we have a stone there. What does a stone do? The stone is a one-time attack where you roll a d3 and you do as much damage as you roll. So if I roll a 1, it does 1 damage. 2 does 2 damage. 3 does 3. One stone can kill multiple wolves because I guess it's representing you've thrown a whole bunch of them. So we're using 6-sided dice. There's many ways to do this, but I like to do it where 1 means 1, 2 means 2, 3 means 3. So that means then that a 4 is a 1, a 5 is a 2, and a 6 is a 3. I prefer to do it that way. I know some people can do 1 and 2 means 1, but that's just counterintuitive to me. Okay, so I'm going to roll a die for the stones. I rolled a 2. So I did 2 damage. Now, 2 damage is compared to the endurance of the beasts. Each beast has 1 endurance. So just by throwing stones, we killed both wolves. Because they each have 1, I did 2 damage. 1, 2. So those wolves didn't even have a chance to scale the wall. So our soldiers did not have to even lift a spear to defend themselves. They just had to be really good at throwing stones. So that's part of the reason why I was laughing and saying there was no point in moving these troops. Level 1 is a very easy level, especially when you get wolves. So with that being said, we just finished the first round. Oh, one final thing, we won. So, for winning, this is also on Board Game Geek, a loot chart. So we had beasts, we beat round 1, our reward is 3 wood. Okay, so we get 3 wood, and we can divide them as we see fit. So I'm going to give 1 to the smuggler, 1 to the counterfeiter, and 1 to the deserter. The pickpocket doesn't get any, because there's not enough to go around to everybody. And that is the conclusion of round 1. Come for next time, when we start round 2. If you have any questions or comments, please be sure to post them. There's a lot of mechanics to this game that we've not even touched, because we don't have spells, we don't have ranged units, we don't have siege units. But there you go. There's round 1 of the game. We have 19 more to go. Thanks a lot. We'll talk to you soon.